Welcome to part 42 of Final Fantasy 15, and in this part, we are going to continue on to Caem after we got ourselves our, I do believe, 6th Kingsword. Yes, we managed to get 6 of them, and it is by chapter 6. So, with that said, we just have to drive on to Cape Caem with no problems at all. However, again, we'll be making a pit stop on the way there. At least for the most part, we could just drive.
Let's hit it.
Oh, and by the way, if you do actually take the long way out, Iris will actually ask Gladio, Noctis, and Prompto if they actually help out with the cooking for Iggy. And, well, Gladio has no answer, Noctis has no answer, Prompto says he only sets up the table. But, all things aside, we're going to eventually part ways with Iris. Because once we get to Caem, she's going to remain there for the remainder of the game. All we're practically doing is hiding her out so that she won't get into any harm. And by the way, we'll probably have to wait until we leave for Altissia and deal with that and come back in order for us to talk to Iris yet again, or maybe complete the game, one of the two.
No, I'm fine. I'm not jealous.
But at this point, ladies and gentlemen,
a lot of fun hanging out with you guys.
we can just enjoy the scenic cruise for now.
What are you talking about?
We can hang out anytime, right?
As, well, Iris just pretty much repeated what I just said. We may have to part ways because Iris will be stuck in Caem for the rest of the game, and we probably won't be seeing her in the game, seeing her again in the main storyline. But at the same time,
I gotta give the driver a break every now and then.
You say so. Wonder why no one ever thought of that before.
Because no one ever had little sister.
we have to stop for a minute and take the long way over to Caem. As a matter of fact, you can stop at the shores and actually jump off and go to a campsite over there. And it will basically continue on where we last left off. Otherwise, we could just simply call it Chocobo and ride the rest of the way to Caem. Either way, the car is going to be parked here. You're going to have to get Ignis to drive all the way back to Caem, just so the car can be parked at Caem. The car is going to be stuck here for a while.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Picture perfect.
I mean, yes, you can call Cindy to tow the car over to you, but that's going to cost about 500 gil or 5,000 gil, I'm not sure. Depending on the distance, it may cost 5,000 gil. Whatever the case, you're practically riding on a chocobo in the middle of the road. And cars can just simply stop and watch a chocobo fly by. As a matter of fact, just take a good look down there. Yes, there is a campsite down there, but also I do believe somewhere in the outskirts of this area, there is a hunt that we'll have to do later on in the game. No, I'm not talking about a time hunt. I mean an actual hunt in the game that will be at a higher star level. I'll show off where all the hunts are by the end of the game, because that's basically all we have left to do is hunts and temples. I mean, not temples, but rather dungeons. And the vaults. And hideous dungeon, and the Assassin's Creed Festival. Man, this is a long-term project.
Was home to His Majesty's ship. Bet everything's just the way he left.
Funny thing is, I'm almost finished with Paper Mario. I just have two more parts to do.
That bridge up ahead.
Some piece of work right there. The rivers run wide out here, so the bridges run long.
Guess I'll see it when we cross.
Meanwhile, this, let's just say, I'll try to get as much stuff done as I can before we get to... Oh, by the way, I stopped to check the timer. That's what that pause is for. I'll try to get as much stuff as I can done before we cross over to Altissia. From there, we're gonna have a Vive mission to do, as a matter of fact. Because... Oh, really? Really? Well, at least they're flag bearers, but still, I don't care. The Imperials can just suck it. Just always raining a man's parade. But as I was saying, we do have a Vive mission. The last one is over in Altissia, so there is that. And by the way,
Laddie, don't you help?
Prompto actually went downstairs because they were thinking that you would go straight to a campsite and rest up and get whatever experience points you got on the way out of Almond Thicket to add on to yours, and then continue on with the driving. Hell no, we're going to continue on to Cape Caem because it's not too far. I'm choosing to do this because, well, I think if you ride enough distance, your Chocobo would be at max level, which is level 6. I think it's level 6. I'll probably have to check on that.
Anyone else feel like stopping back home?
Whatever the case, I love riding Chocobos.
That's what I like to hear. It's not merely taking back.
You see that? I love riding Chocobos. Now then, we're almost at Cape Caem, and Cape Caem actually has a lot of things. Like, for instance, it has a cottage. It also has a fishing area somewhere in the area. And on top of that, it has a campsite as well. Yeah, Sydney's here. And also, it has a mission here as well, which we probably won't be able to do until later. So, there's that, and also, there's more food items here. Oh, don't worry. Demons won't actually show up here like talking about it. By the way, buy this. Definitely buy it. And this is also where you can get some fishing equipment. Nice. And I have some new food ingredients to pick up too, in case you need them. But yes, there is a recipe somewhere around Cape Caem. I'm going to show you where it is as soon as I'm finished buying a lot of stuff for Ignis to cook. Because eventually, once we get set to go into the Vesperpool, I do believe we are going to have to start cooking. Just because. I would at least try to do some stuff ahead of time. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Thank you.
I'd probably do the fishing off screen just so I could go after Navith before we leave for Altissia. But at the same time, I want to try to at least get to at least get to chapter 7 to get that done. I mean, Altissia's chapter 8, yeah, but I do believe that it gets worse from chapter 8. That's all I gotta say. Well, no. It gets worse, then it gets better, then it gets suboptimal, I guess. That's kind of the best thing. It's not that the game is bad or the story is bad. It's just one particular dungeon that irks my nerves. And we'll cross that dungeon eventually. But for right now, just getting all of this stuff is... Aw, man, stupid 10-minute time limit. It did discover a new recipe for Ignis, and it cut off right when he said, "That's it, I've come up with a new recipe." But to make up for it, there is a new recipe we can find. First, we gotta talk to Cindy. And that recipe's right on that board, right over there. So if we talk to Cindy, Iris will part ways with us. So we have a choice, either keep up with Cindy or take a... Well, she at least posed for the picture. Alright everyone, say cheese. There we go. Ah, there it is. And now, for the phrase that pays.
That's it.
What's what?
I've come up with a new recipe.
I could taste test for you.
Sorry for my computer humming in the background. It's kinda loud. But now let's talk to Cindy. And say goodbye to Iris.
It was fun.
How's the boat?
Pawpaw's tinkering away. Reckon he'll be tinkering for some time.
Trouble at sea.
Seen her share by the looks of her. Some parts we can fix, others need replacing.
An overhaul.
Don't y'all worry, Pawpaw ain't going nowhere till the job's done. Parts won't fetch themselves, though. Was kinda hoping y'all wouldn't mind helping out with that.
We're at your disposal.
To tell the truth, we already got a couple hands on deck. Dustin and Monica. Those two have been real swell. Managed to gather just about everything we need.
You can depend on the Crown's Guard.
Trouble is, they ain't had much luck finding a certain something by the name of mythril. Apparently the stuff's hard to come by around these parts. At least according to the little fella from the city.
Talcott?
You betcha. Sharp as a tack, that one. Could tell y'all more about the stuff than I could.
We'll be sure to ask.
Sorry, that's a lot of exposition. But yes, I separated from the group because apparently there is something on Jarrett's grave. Now, if I could find the damn thing, I'd probably pick it up. But yes, there is an item on Jarrett's grave. Make sure you get it. I mean, you won't be able to come back here until later on in Altissia. Like, when you have the ability to get here. Sorry about that. I keep thinking my phone has been turned down, but it's not. Unfortunately, here I am, just wandering around, so, if push comes to shove, we're gonna have to talk to Cindy, and don't worry about any demons popping up here. Ironically enough, the place is illuminated enough for us to not get attacked by them.
Now, if y'all excuse me, I'm gonna grab my tools and skedaddle. Got a garage to look after.
Prince Noctis! Hey! Our house is over here! Right this way!
He's trying. He's trying. I gotta give the kid credit. He is trying. Even though at first he came off as pretentious, I mean, the man just lost his granddad. I mean, I probably try the best as I can to try to be cheery. But anyway, let's go to the new cabin before I go. Let me just check and see if I can find it. And no, I can't find Jarrett's grave. Which is kind of ironic, the fact that, well, they buried him out here. How were they ever to carry a dead guy out here is beyond me. You'd think that he would have been brought to a hospital or something like that, but that's not even the case. But anyway, in order for us to continue on with the story, we have to talk to Talcott. So let's go on ahead and talk to him.
Cindy might have told you already, but she needs a very special kind of ore called mythril to fix the boat. Remember the waterfall? I read in Grandpa's notebook. There's some ruins near a lake just north of there. It said you'll find mythril inside.
About that lake. Pretty sure he was talking about the Vesperpool. I asked Monica to look into it, and she told me the road leading there's under Imperial lockdown. You'll want to be prepared for anything.
Now, this
So,
is
that's not
where
wrong.
the break-off point begins. If we were to talk to Iris, we would have been launched straight into the main objective for Chapter 6. So, with that said, we can actually go into... wait, let's pick this up right here. Ooh! Regalia, little royal crown that decal that goes onto the regalia, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, if we take a nap, we'll actually get a cutscene. So, there is that. There isn't any talking here, so that's pretty much good. But this cabin is for free. It is like a 1 multiplier. If anything, I gotta say, it's got the lowest multiplier in the entirety of the game. Whereas, I made a mistake, it was Altissia that had the 3 times multiplier that took pretty much all of your money. But still, it is well worth the multiplier up there, but here, not so much. Here is something you need in case you run into demons. Or at least you get too dark out at night and you don't feel like fighting demons. Funny thing is, it's right below a actual campsite and a fishing area. There is that. So, with all of that said, I might as well just tell you right now that I do have one last... Oh, I'm going to keep that photo. That's hilarious. I do have one last
I dig it too.
thing to do before I actually stop off and do the Chocobo Festival, and that is get another hunt to get some more money. That's probably what I'm going to do. I only went to sleep so that it'll actually be brighter out. But Cape Caem is important because this is where you actually get carrots. Let me explain further. After you beat Altissia and you come back here, Iris will ask you to tend to the carrot field. Once you do... Oh, by the way, there's Jared's graveyard. Once you do, and of all the things, it happens to be a decal for the regalia, but once you do get all the carrots, you can sell it to this guy. He will give you all sorts of things, like Owata berries or things of that nature. But I think in order to activate that, you have to go over to Golden Key. So before we actually shove off to Altissia, at least start the missions for them, we will be going to Golden Key.
A whole lot of things about a whole lot of places in his
But before we do that, there's a hunt, and also there is something that was lurking about in the Glacial Grotto to deal with. And that's what I'm going to be dealing with in Part 43. This is RVMan 985. See you guys next time, because after this, Choco Break! Yeah, thought you haven't heard that one again from Final Fantasy VIII? Later!